The only thing people want to talk about these days is the real estate bubble and how it's gonna pop, and I'm just not sure that's the case. Is that the housing market? Flannel, football, pumpkins. It's fall market time. Hi, welcome back to another Coffee with Coleman. We love to discuss Washington, D.C., business, real estate, all that good stuff. My name is John Coleman, and I'm a real estate agent here in Washington, D.C. with the Jason Martin Group. All right, quick favor. If you like D.C., go ahead and hit that like button below. Your support of the channel means so much to me, and if you're finding this information relevant, why don't you go ahead and just subscribe already? I release new videos each week that you might like, and you'll get alerted when that happens. All right, so my job's easier on this video, sort of. The last two videos I released with market updates felt a little bit tougher for me because I felt like I was really going against the grain of what was actually happening in the market, of like it was slowing, quickening, slowing. Whatever I was saying was kind of the exact opposite of what other people were feeling. Now it seems like what I talked about in my last video has started to take shape. The reality though is I'm not a genius. My teachers were full right let me know that as I was growing up, but it wasn't that outlandish to stand here and talk about how the market couldn't keep doing what it was doing because it was freaking nuts. No one in their right mind could think that that could continue forever. Freaking nuts. What's really hard for me right now is I feel a little bit lost because I've gotten a pretty good handle on where I think usually the upcoming market is going to be. Truth be told, right now I'm lost. However, there's tons of interesting data out there. So why don't we just go through that and we can all draw our own conclusions together. So welcome to John's 6 random real estate musings of what's happening in the market as we dive into the fall of 2021. All right, number 1, where's everybody at? This was predictable. After being holed up in DC for 18 months, not being able to see family, friends, or anything besides that really creepy Garfield clock you had on the wall, people wanted to get away. Heck, real estate agents wanted to get away. I see your pictures at Dewey Beach, don't tell me I'm not lying. So travel has been very important, which means real estate has been a little out of sight and out of mind. And we're seeing that with our own clients right now as they're off doing what they should be doing, enjoying a little bit of life. 2, confidence is low. Were people polled by the Fannie Mae Sentiment Index, a resounding 66 to 72% of people between the ages of 18 to 64 thought it was a bad time to buy. That's crazy. What's even crazier is the percentage tends to go higher as they get younger, and there's your first-time home buyer market. So what's that gonna mean? Number 3 is mortgage rates. For rates, we're hearing mortgage rates have hit the highest level they have in months. Buddy, we're talking about a 3.0. It's cheap. Is it the cheapest rate we've seen in a while? No, but historically these are such cheap numbers. For a while, the general sentiment was that rates were gonna start going up sometime in like 2023. However, we got a visit from old friend inflation. And inflation has gotten people starting to talk about maybe we should start doing that in 2022 instead. So 2022, we might see rates start to go up. For the purposes of our fall market review, rates will be low. Maybe people will want to take advantage of it before they go up though. Number 4, mortgage applications. So when talking to some of our lending partners, it's become quite apparent that applications are down right now. They're a little bit slow. And I was researching some articles as I was preparing this video. Yes, I do some research when I'm preparing these videos. And a lot of them concentrate on kind of that like week to week shifts. Like, hey, from last week, we're up 2% in applications for mortgages. However, the number that I'm really looking at is the fact that in comparison to 1 year ago, applications are down like 19%. That's massive. That's a big swing, but it also makes sense because remember all those people that were not around hanging out the Purple Parrot over in Rehoboth? They're not thinking about uploading their W-2s and last year's documents. They're thinking about having a couple cocktails with the family on the beach. So maybe that's why applications are down. Or maybe because of consumer sentiment, people are just not putting in applications. So number 5 is inventory. As for inventory, we're actually starting to see it trend down, which I didn't see that coming, but that's what the data says. We've actually had more inventory this year by a good margin than the previous 2 years during that first half of the year. However, the normal's August cool down seems to be cooling us a little bit more than 2020 and 2019. The interesting thing to watch is going to be what the first 2 weeks of September done, because in comparison to previous years, that's typically a big uptick. And I'm curious to see if we're going to stay a little bit lower or if we are going to skyrocket in comparison, because all these people see big numbers, they want big numbers when they sell their houses, and they think now might be a good time. As for showings, well, they've actually been trending with the last couple of years. They're below 2020, but more than 2019. So I think that those are falling in line with what we're seeing. If it was just compared to 2020, we may be like, oh my goodness, the market's slow. But in comparison to a pretty robust 2019, showings seem to be pretty steady right now. As you see, those numbers will start to dwindle throughout the fall though, which, it is what it is. People start getting turkey on the brain, they start getting a little sleepy. I forget the name of that stuff that makes you sleepy from turkey, but it does it, maybe even in the real estate market. Last is we have the rental market. Remember last year when the rental market was like dead? Like you could find 2 months of free rent, no security deposit, bring 6 puppies. Well, DC rentals are back. People are finding their way home and they need a place to live. In fact, according to this article from WTOP, DC's real estate market is in 5th for the largest spike in activity with regards to renting, which seems to be a big city type of thing, but hey, we're big city people, so that's what we do. All right, so do you see why I'm a little confused as I'm trying to break this down? On one hand, we got low confidence, we got people on vacation. The other hand, the real data says that we're not that far off from showings and our inventory is lower than what we would expect it to be. And in order for a market to shift, we need higher inventory. There's just so much happening right now. And meanwhile, rentals are getting tough. People didn't necessarily see that coming, but that's where we are right now, along with those applications. Where's all those applications? There's one truth, and that is that the fall market's here. Some are going to be calling for a real estate bubble to burst. Well, it could happen. I just don't think that's going to be the case. We might see what is slower, but we've generally seen the fall trend as a little bit slower than the rest of the years, at least the last handful of years. If I was a buyer right now, I don't think I'd be that freaked out unless it was a short-term purchase, which I don't think real estate's done good short-term anyways. So maybe sit it out if that's your case. If I'm a seller, look at it this way. I'd be happy that the market has pushed prices to where they currently are, but I'd also understand that those marks might be harder to hit right now because there's not 13 people punching each other in the face on your front lawn for your enjoyment. So if you're gonna bring your house out, price it appropriately and have a good strategy and be excited with what you get. List it for a price that you'd be excited to get from a buyer, because there's no guarantee you're gonna get all of those offers to drive your price up. All right, so that's what I had for today. What did I miss? Did you disagree with anything? Put in the comments. I'm a big guy. I can handle some critiques. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about, and I can address those either directly in the comments or make another video to see if we can't take care of it there. If you're wondering what the best approach for you might be with regards to buying or selling real estate in the near future, go ahead and reach out. My contact information is below. That's literally my cell phone number. Give me a shout, text, or even email, and we'll be happy to schedule and talk about what would be important for you. All right, thanks again for stopping by another Coffee with Coleman. Peace.